Hey guys, Kyle Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my late night review for One Piece chapter 912. And this was pretty much just another setup chapter, but we ended up getting we definitely getting a lot of good bits in it for sure. Like we were getting a lot more expansion on exactly on pretty much how Kaido and the Shogun's activities are affecting Wano in general. Like we actually get to see like how we actually get to see this time how their actions are affecting Wano in general. So that's good. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. And first off, I gotta talk about the cover page because honestly, like the sports motif, like just seeing the sports motif of all the straws, with the pretty much with Sanji being swimming and Nami being tennis and Robin horse riding, uh, pretty much Zoro basketball doing baseball with three bats. Uh, we get to see Frankie basketball, Chopper boxing, yeah, and my personal favorite, and of course, and of course, uh, and of course, pretty much Brooke playing soccer. Like just the sports motif in general, there is just is just a visual wonder to me. Like I know you've seen like filler episodes of the Straws doing sports and whatnot, but just seeing, I always love seeing like just a visual image of them doing something cool in a cover panel, and just yeah, seeing them do sports was kind of an interesting one. Um, so first off, I gotta and and if I had this and like I said, my favorite one and 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 I'd have to say out of all those ones we see, my favorite one, and probably most people will agree with me, is the funniest. Was Brooke playing soccer because A, I low key used to play soccer myself, and B, seeing him kick his own head like a soccer ball just fits the running gag of him losing his head constantly. So it was a cool chapter because of that. So yeah, just sports motif, Oda, it fits you for sure. Um, but anyway, cover panel aside, we learn the name of Tama's master, which is Hitetsu. And when that name first came up, I thought to myself, it can't be a coincidence that he shares a similar name to Zoro's sword. And lo and behold, we find out he's in fact the descendant of the bladesmith that forged Zoro's sword, which not only gives him a whole new level of importance to the story, but I'm wondering where the plot point of Luffy now wielding meat. I think it was die Kitetsu is gonna go. I mean, if Luffy's luck is anything like Zoro's, it could just be a setup for a joke. But the fact that Oda took the time and dedicated a panel to remind us that all the Kitetsu swords are cursed makes me think it's definitely set up for something and set up for something like on I Oda. We know the man. We know he just doesn't. He doesn't give us information only because he wants to as a reminder. We know it's going to serve a purpose to the plot, and I wonder what exactly the pretty much Kitetsu sword that Luffy is wielding is going to serve. Like pretty much the only thing that really comes to mind, honestly, is not necessarily the curse itself, but the fact that it is going to have to do with something of of the Kitetsu sword that Luffy's wielding, and the Kitetsu sword that Zoro is wielding are gonna come together at some point, or they're gonna be used in unison with each other at some point. I mean, it's possible. Who knows? Can you imagine? And if that is the case, can you imagine Zoro wielding pretty much two Kitetsu swords? That would actually kind of kick ass. I'm just saying. Um, Also, like I said, the chapter further explores the effect that the Shogun and Kaido's alliance has had on Wano. Like we actually get to see like just the drawback and of pretty much how the pollution from pretty much Kaido's factories is affecting Wano as a whole. Like it's pretty much polluted at least half of the country, at least half of the country, and hell, even like it makes it so that it makes it so that the samurai pretty much can't even eat the animals of the land. Like the animals drink, like it's pretty much it's pretty much like the whole explanation of how it's being of how the pollution from Kaido's factories are affecting the land. It feels like some kind of weird. It kind of feels like some kind of twisted, demented sort of way of 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 the circle of life, like with like the well, like when the animals drink the polluted water, that they themselves that they themselves like the meat they themselves become poisonous. So every time the samurai or anyone even tries to eat the meat of the animals, it pretty much poisons them too. So yeah, it's a real twisted fucking way of explaining the circle of life that I know that that Kaido and the Shogun have affected the whole circle of life and whatnot of Wano. And well, and the funny thing, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, this whole setup in terms of and this whole setup with how the Shogun and Kaido have affected Wano, it like okay, there are very clear differences, but this whole setup of Kaido and the Shogun hoarding unpolluted resources does sound very similar to an actual moment in Japanese history I remember reading about. Remember reading about. I just can't for the life of me remember the specifics. All I do remember is that there was one point where an emperor once hoarded resources from his people and left them just barely enough to survive. Like that's like again, I can't be for certain if this is actually taking from a certain part of Japanese history here, but it definitely feels like that. It's just for like it's and but if it is, then yeah, for the life of me, I can't remember the specifics. I guess it I guess it shows just how much I retained from high school history class. Fuck me. um, Now, aside from that, we also get a bit of backstory of Ace's time in Wano, and it does appear his meeting Tama did happen even before joining Whitebeard, which, in a small way, feels like a missed opportunity, but I understand that the flashback is meant to show Ace's effect on the people he was pretty much coming across and the people he met in Wano and not Whitebeard's, which is once again showing how influential just a man with the initial D can be if the samurai end up breaking their creed about pirates and befriend him in order for him to have that kind of effect. And I will say, even though there might have been a missed opportunity in order to include Whitebeard in there, I definitely like how it is just giving back, just giving us this whole, giving us a little bit more of who Ace was as a character and how. And just even though he was a pirate, and just how friendly he actually was to pretty much anyone who met. And the only time he really would attack is if they really would be violent, as if people pissed him off. Which again, it's so funny. Like it is again, it's so funny. Even though Ace and Luffy aren't really aren't technically blood brothers, it really just shows. Pretty much just how similar pretty much the two of them are, and I think it does reinforce Oda's message that yeah, you don't have to be related in order to be family, and yeah, like Ace and Luffy were just true brothers. They just shared so much in common with each other that it was just insane, honestly, and yeah, I just love seeing it. Like Ace is probably everyone's. We can also agree that Ace is definitely one of everyone's favorite characters, at least top 5 favorite characters. And yeah, it was just good to see just Ace getting his. It just us getting this whole getting to know who Ace was, of course. And and of course, after reuniting with Zoro, Luffy immediately gets into a fight with Basil Hawkins, the one of the now one of the commanders of Kaido's forces, which honestly at this point is pretty damn typical. But what I'm hoping we're gonna get out of this is that I'm in like pretty much usually when it comes to the fights that Luffy, the fights that are in One Piece, the fights usually are only happen in order to reveal something. And what I'm hoping we're gonna get out of this fight with Hawkins is that I I'm interested to see what exactly is going to be revealed about Hawkins' motives from this fight because, again, we have both Hawkins and Drake as allies to Kaido. So, at least one of these guys has to be a traitor. And the fact that we haven't seen Drake yet, like, once again, tells me he'll more than likely be the one to join up with Luffy, unless, if it does happen, unless something is revealed in this fight to say, Drake has Hawkins has this plan in order to stop him and in order to stop him actually and in order to stop him and in order to stop him and or who knows, I could be completely off base and maybe both Drake and Hawkins are actually conspiring with each other. Actually, it would be interesting to see if both. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, it would be more interesting to see if Drake and Kaido are actually conspiring with each other. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see if that's actually what's going to happen here. But yeah, for now, I'm curious what's going to be revealed from this fight, if anything. And but so far the thing about Hawkins is that he does seem pretty serious. So I'm curious to see what exactly is going to be revealed here. So I'm curious to see what it was, especially outside of Kaido being a total monster, that made him turn, of course. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Facebook. That's not signing off. Later, guys.